And thank you, Nancy. Continuing, we are 1 week away from the local primary elections, and the race to the White House has entered critical stages as the new CNN poll shows Donald Trump leading. Here to talk further and discuss these topics, we'll welcome political commentators Dominic Carter, J.C. Polanco, and Bob Capstatter to the show. And gentlemen, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Good morning. I first want to talk about, before we move to the presidential election, I want to talk about the president and the G20. Obviously, a lot of talk about the president at the G20, also his controversy with a couple of leaders there. And so when we talk about the G20, Dominic, and the president leaving out of there, what's your take?
What the president has been doing, President Obama, first of all, it's nice to be back, Daren, here on Open. Thank you for having us. What the president is doing really for the last 6 months is all about his legacy right now. He's focusing on the future, how he will be remembered as America's first African-American president. And so he's focusing on issues in which he has a good standing with other world leaders. If you're referring to the situation what happened with the leader of the Philippines, it's very unfortunate. You cannot treat the president of America in a disrespectful way like that and then think that you're going to get an audience with the president. So it's a good thing that the top official in the Philippines apologized for the comment, and so they'll move forward. But Obama has been on a world stage, obviously, as the president of the United States, and it's starting to look like Daren, like history will look back and remember him in a very positive way.
Bob, talk to me about this for a minute, because when you talk about the president's legacy, foreign policy obviously has been questionable. Your take on his foreign policy?
It's a tough world out there. I mean, he's basically gotten us, taken two wars that were begun in the previous administration, wound them down to some point. There's some criticism about maybe early withdrawals, but at least we're not in a full open war right now. ISIS has come to the fore. It was created out of all the chaos out of the Iraq War. But I think he's done pretty well on the world stage. When you look back at where we were before his term, yes, there's a lot of work still to be done. There's the European Union situation, there's Asia, China, economic competition. Not much has changed. There's always going to be problems in this world. I think it's been fairly steady. We haven't gotten into a really embroiled war at this point.
JC, let me throw you in here right quick. Foreign policy with the president.
You know, I think, unfortunately, one of the things that angers me a great deal is the disrespect that I see towards President Obama. I see that disrespect nationally, some in my own party, and I see this disrespect internationally. You know, it's not to say that a lot of it hasn't been self-inflicted, whether it's these unconstitutional executive orders that upset some on the right in my party, or if internationally we look at some of the president's do not cross lines in Ukraine, and we saw what Putin did. It was a joke for the international community to see how Putin laughs in our face and crosses that line in Ukraine, sees the debacle that we participated in Syria, sees how we withdrew from Iraq. So we've made some mistakes internationally. But these mistakes don't come close to how much good we do as a country and how much good President Obama has done internationally for other countries. And I think China should have respected him more on that tarmac. I think the Philippines should think twice before ever disrespecting our president, as Dominic mentioned a little earlier. And I think that what you saw with the president making sure that he doesn't give the Philippines an audience sends a clear signal that you cannot disrespect the president of the United States, whether it's a Republican or Democrat. I'd like to see more respect towards the president, especially towards the tail end. And that, and you know what? Yes, that includes giving his judicial nominees a hearing and giving them an up or down vote. And that includes working with the president in the last few months that he's in office. So it's a holistic approach that I see happening to protect his legacy, as we heard earlier, both internationally and nationally.
I want to switch gears here and talk about the presidential election as it is. I talked in the beginning, CNN poll, new CNN poll, talk about Donald Trump possibly could have the numbers to go ahead and win this. I know a little while ago we were talking about this wasn't going to happen, but yet and still, a very real reality. Bob is shaking his head like, yeah.
I'm sort of amazed, and I'm not. You know, again, I referred to the Brexit vote in England, where they voted to leave the European Union. I'm hearing more and more people I know, educated people, who are saying, you know what, I'm going to vote for Trump. And you know, you can't argue with them. But what I'm also sensing is that a lot of people are going to say, you know what, I know Trump isn't going to win, but I'm going to vote for him anyway just to show. And I think that's what happened with Brexit. People said, well, it's not really going to happen.
Bob, that's so irresponsible. I hear that all the time as well. It angers me to no end. This is an important thing. People think it's a joke. Yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump. Let's see what happens. Ha, ha, ha. Come on, it's the presidency of the United States.
But you keep hearing it from more and more people that surprise you.
No, Bob, you're right.
Yes, you do.
What is the difference maker for Donald Trump? What difference is he making in terms of attracting an audience and getting these people out to vote?
Well, what I'm about to say, it may offend some that are strong supporters of Hillary Clinton or Democrats, but I'm talking to someone who's been in this game covering politics for 30 years, who has a very good track record at predicting things. And the last time I was here, I'm not surprised at all. I told you that Donald Trump was going to be ahead soon. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you again, Democrats better wake up and wake up fast. I'm sure the politics of many people in the Bronx are not in favor of a Donald Trump. That's just an assumption that I'm making. There are some, but you have to understand when you've traveled our country, everything he does for a reason. I know many of us don't support some of the fights he's had with the Purple Heart. Is it Purple Heart family that he got into? Gold Star family. I know that we think it's disgusting. But you have to understand, in parts of America, that type of stuff goes over well.
There is a message there that comes across.
Right, and battleground states. And so Hillary Clinton has made a couple of mistakes. Number one, Mrs. Clinton, you cannot run out the clock. You can't do a Rose Garden strategy. It's not going to work. Your negatives are way too high. She made a mistake being off the campaign trail for the last couple of weeks while she was raising money. That's understandable, but a huge mistake. You cannot let Donald Trump dominate the news cycle. He will kill you in terms of whether you like him or not in New York, but his popularity in America.
Hillary spent close to 300 days without a press conference. I mean,
which is disgusting.
I don't know what you're thinking. This idea that she gives interviews to different channels is not good enough, because it's in a press conference that you leave yourself open to questions.
It's unfiltered.
You can't hide. And you know what? Trump, as much as I don't like what he says, as much as I'm not going to support him, he opens himself up and allows for people to ask him questions. And guess what? Americans are watching this, and they're saying to themselves, "Well, at least he went to Mexico. At least he's out there saying
and he looked presidential.
he tries to look presidential." Right. No, it's Dominic and Bob. I got to be honest. The bar that we set for Donald Trump and the curve that we give him is so low. Like I don't even give this to my students in class. This kind of curve.
You are correct. You are correct.
But you know what? I think that this election is going to get a lot closer than I thought. And
I want to make a prediction when you're done talking.
I think the Democrats have to step it up, or there may be a surprise, not with the Electoral College vote, but with the popular vote.
I was about to say.
Bob's got a prediction.
All right, well, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm thinking about the Bush-Gore situation. Hillary has got a very strong field operation going. I don't think Donald has that strong a field operation going right now. And I can see possibly him even winning the popular vote. I can see her taking it with the electoral vote.
Yeah, I think Mitt Romney lost the popular vote by 5 million. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're going to see that with Donald Trump. However, how interesting is this election? This Electoral College map in November is going to be in Hillary's favor by a lot.
Ohio, Pennsylvania,
yeah, we're talking about
Florida,
in over 300
key states.
But yet he's going to come close in the popular vote.
Let me ask this question, and I'll start with Dominic. Is this going to invoke a higher voter turnout across the United States? I mean, we know that there was high voter turnout when it came to President Obama running the first and second time. Will we see as much, if not more?
I'm so glad, Daren, that you asked that question. I am warning Democrats. I am trying my best to tell you that this is no joke. Here's a scenario. You mentioned, and that's why I love the question, you mentioned Obama. Record turnout from African Americans, large turnout from Latinos and so on, his coalition. If 15% of those people go, I'm not really feeling Hillary, she's going to win, I'm going to stay home. You already know his base is extremely motivated. No matter, when he made that comment about if he shoots some people, he shouldn't have said it, but he should, on Fifth Avenue, he was right. His supporters are strongly in his corner, and you might see a record turnout. So low turnout among blacks and Latinos for Hillary, high turnout among Trump's base, and guess what? I'm telling you, we're this close from seeing the president, Donald Trump.
And the reason I'm laughing at JC is because we talked about this about what if we first came out. Never thought we'd be having this conversation in September
who would have
about
thunk?
this. We talked about this saying, what, 6 months? You said 6 months and this is all over?
Yeah.
And here it is. We're like 3
I'm
weeks
wrong.
away. Right.
I'm wrong. Look, if
It's
this was a major league team, I'd be cut a while ago. My numbers are so low right
is a
now.
major league team, by the way, yeah.
I mean, with the Yankees, I'd be done. I'd be back in the farm league. You know what? I'm going to tell you again. The Electoral College map is solidly in Hillary's favor. And moving forward, I want my party to know the map is not looking favorably. The country's demographics are changing. We really have to change our tune. We have to change our candidates. Donald Trump's message and how he speaks about Muslims, how he spoke about Mexicans, puts my party, and it sends my party back years. So although he's going to come close, and we hear Dominic, it's true. The popular vote is going to be closer than we ever thought. But this Electoral College map is going to be solidly in Hillary Clinton's favor. And I predict right now, and I want everybody to come back and see this clip right now, Hillary wins the Electoral College vote with over 300 votes.
All right, 2 points. Where's Bernie? Why is he not out there pounding the pulpit for his people who are on the fence now over Hillary? Where is he? He's got to get out
He
there.
was just there yesterday. How much
Well,
more do you want,
I'm
Bob Blood?
not seeing that much exposure from him. He should be out there more. And the other point is, one of my concerns is post-election. What kind of state is this country going to be in post-election? We have a divided nation, a badly divided nation. And how does this translate into policy? Where does the Senate go Democrat? I don't know, but you have a nation that's badly divided on a lot of issues, and that's not a good thing for this country.
I think I shared with you guys before. I was in England, and when we were in England having dinner with some people, asked about the Brexit vote, and they told us specifically, Brexit would have never happened had it been for people not coming out. They stayed at home, thought it would never happen, and all of a sudden, Brexit happens. They said the same thing will probably happen here in the States with Donald Trump becoming the president. If people think it won't happen, it probably will.
Well, now with the polls, I think people are going to wake up.
No, you know what? Brexit is completely different. There's not an electoral college in for Brexit. There just
Well, you're right
isn't.
about that, but it's still numbers.
No, so it doesn't matter. To me, Brexit is, I know that Donald Trump likes to use the Brexit as a theme for his campaign. It's a totally different campaign. It's one that involved the popular vote. We're a much more sophisticated system to protect us against Brexit-like votes.
Well,
the founding fathers were futuristic in their view of things. They said, we don't want Brexit-like votes happening all the time. So let's set this up to protect ourselves. And Alexander Hamilton called us beasts, referred to the people as beasts, because he knows exactly what we're capable of doing.
Well, how certain are we about the swing states, Ohio, Pennsylvania?
We're not certain. That's why I'm not commenting, because Trump is down in Pennsylvania right now. Okay, heavy Democratic vote in Philadelphia, but how goes the suburbs of Philadelphia might go the election. So if he can turn out his base, if he can pull Pennsylvania, there are several scenarios in the Electoral College for him to win. And to many people that are watching us right now, this is a scary thought, but it's real. Okay, you can call Trump a clown, you can call him whatever you want. He got past one of 18 candidates. He's now down to Hillary Clinton. He's the nominee, which is, when you think about it, when you really sit down and think about it, and people are so angry at politicians that do nothing, that talk a good game, talk, get in office, do the exact opposite. People are disgusted. What you referred to earlier in the show, it seems like they're willing to take a gamble, and it's scary to many Americans.
Yeah, gotta leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming and sharing. As always, you can catch these gentlemen here on Open, giving the latest in political news.
You're the man. It's
good to be back.
We'll be back. We'll gotta have you back, and then we'll also talk about some of these local races as well, and get your perspective on that.
It's getting hot on the local scene.
It is getting hot on the local scene. That's why we gotta do it again.
Call me back.
Phone is ringing right now. Be right back after these messages. Don't go anywhere. Come right back in a few.